I would suggest they get an advisory board who's separate from their family and friends, who are very third party and who can actually say to them, here's the things, just like this panel is doing right now, here's the things that you're missing, and you're missing your passion, your joie de vivre, your selling quality that's going to differentiate you from Red Rose Tea and from anybody else. And I think if they have that story, then the passion of their people who are going to be selling in the basements is going to carry through. And it's going to reverberate and carry on, and they're going to have something to talk about. Right now, I think they need some guidance. And people who've been in business and understand going to the banks and understand the financial situation they're going to be facing and the cash flow issues they're going to be seeing in 2 months. So my advice would be get an advisory panel and get the best. Pick up the phone and call people you don't know and say, would you mind sitting in and helping me? And everybody I know would be happy to mentor somebody like this.
I count from the standpoint of having seen the dollars before and can smell sort of where this is going to end up, and a lawyer from the standpoint of having seen businesses that have succeeded and failed probably, and know the warning signs. I mean, that would be a first stop. There are consultancies, ad nauseum to choose from marketing to strategy to financial planning to there's probably someone specifically great at launching direct food services, businesses out there that has done this 100 times and has a shingle that they hang up that they could visit if they want to. That's that can be big dollars though, and I'm not sure where they are in terms of wanting to spend money on the professional advice side.
10 years ago or last week, whenever I've called people up, it doesn't seem to matter that we've done a good job with branding or that someone's heard of us or hasn't heard of us. The fact that I'm calling up saying, here's my specific challenge, and you are an expert in that field, or I bet you've handled this challenge and solved it before. I think people like to offer or like to give help when they're asked, especially when they're flattered if they know that there's somebody who's regarded for having solved a certain problem or become one of the better people in a city or the world at such and such. People like to be reached out to.
Well, they have to be really committed to it, because you've got to, knock on 200 doors that slam in your face before you get an opening. And so, I completely agree with what Mark says, is that it's just doing it and putting just actually going out and doing it. And they tend to be flexible because, we've also talked that the first idea doesn't necessarily work the way you expect it to, and so you have to be flexible and willing to kind of change gears. There are people that are really receptive to other people's ideas. They tend to be people that are pitching. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And they're getting feedback from all sorts of people. I mean, the fact that a team is involved in this and is soliciting ideas, I think speaks really highly that he's looking for solutions and wants to get lots of different ideas.
If you're going to listen in these meetings, right, you seek out the mentoring meeting, you seek out, I'd like to raise money from somebody, and you mentioned doors getting slammed in the face. I mean, that always happens after you've had your meeting for half an hour, right? Rick Siegel, who's a venture capitalist, calls it the no harm, no foul meeting. You want 30 minutes, fine. I'm going to say things, you're going to say things, no harm, no foul. Well, don't be mad at me if you don't get any money. He'll do 30 of those some weeks, I think he would say. And I think you need to go to those meetings, expect you won't raise money, and listen, because you will get the feedback that Matt mentioned. You will, if you listen carefully, you'll be able to modulate what you're doing and what your presentation is missing or what your pitch is, and, whether it's passion or what have you. And if you adapt, whether it's hockey or pick your sport or pick your passion, I think you can succeed. And if you're not listening, because you're right and everyone else is wrong, well then your chances of success went down dramatically.